everyone. Welcome inside another edition. It is the Adam Jones podcast presented by the Baltimore Banner. I'm Jerry Coleman from 100.7 The Bay. They asked me to say that. He's Adam Jones, a former five-time All-Star. He asked me to say that, and I will. Today, we have reached episode 88. We'll be joined by Orioles broadcaster. We've been waiting for him, Brett Hollander, the exclusive everyone has been waiting for. Adam and I will also get into the Orioles' offensive issues, as well as the overriding parity in Major League Baseball, and discuss the misery that is Chicago White Sox baseball right now. Plus, Adam needs to explain a picture that he posted this week on social media before he was attending a party. We're going to dig into that. But as always, we bring in our featured guest. He's brought to us by our friends over at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. It is Brett Hollander. Brett, thanks for joining us. Your wish has been granted.
Two of my favorite people. This is amazing. Adam and Jerry. Gentlemen, it's great to see you.
Great to see you, man. I will say this. You have an amazing schedule, a great schedule, in my opinion, and that you get to do all these road games. I know you're a family man, but there's a lot of places you're traveling around this country on the Orioles dime while working, I might add. What a deal.
It's a great deal. It's a unique lifestyle. I think Adam can speak to it. He did it for a very long time. This is only my fifth season doing this, and it's interesting in Boston right now, which is one of my favorite road cities. I don't know if Adam would agree. I really look at a few factors when you look at road cities. Quality of ballpark, which obviously is unique with Fenway. I'm not saying the digs are lavish or great, but it feels like baseball there. Great food here, great cuisine. I like walking to Fenway. I like walking back. Great hotel. So all those factors. I have some friends from Baltimore here. This is one of my favorite road cities, and it's great to come in the spring and in the fall.
It's a great food place before 9 o'clock. My only downfall of Boston is that it closes too early. It shuts down real early. But overall, traveling with the team, what's been your favorite moment of it? Obviously, you get to see the guys in a different light, not playing. You get to see Adley Rutschman, the human being, Adley, you know what I mean? You get to see the guys in a different light with just a cold one in their hand. How is it being able to travel and build your own personal relationships with these young guys?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of an interesting bubble that you're in. You're in this traveling party. It's the same people. It's so much more, Adam, as you know, than the 26 players that you're with at a given time, coaches, front office on different occasions, support staff. And, that world's getting bigger and bigger nowadays, whether it's analytics. Probably more trainers are traveling than ever. And it's just a very large traveling party that's grown in baseball over these last few years. And I think everyone kind of understands that you're in this unique world away from our families for the most part, which presents, as Jerry alluded to, its own sets of challenges. I mean, I have a second and fourth grader that just started. And I would say September and May and June are the toughest months for Mrs. Hollander, who, makes sure they get up in the morning for school. I get texts every night about homework fights, and I really can only do so much to help out. And I really like to joke around with Kevin, who has a 1-year-old coming up here soon, and Jeff, who's about to get married, Melanie, who's about to get married. Adam, you'll love this. They would say, when we all started pretty much at the same time, what'd you do today? And I said, well, I changed a few diapers. I took a kid to a birthday party, soccer practice. And they're like, oh, I was just focusing all day on the Detroit Tigers. I'm like, oh, this is going to turn hard for you. And I can't wait until that day comes. I'm going to have a front row seat for that moment when they're changing diapers and they're worried about birthday parties and sporting events and everything else that comes with being a parent.
So, I mean, obviously you don't have to deal with what obviously Ben and Palmer's kids are a little bit older, but yeah, in a way, you're kind of the senior parent in the small group. You're the longest tenured married guy. And again, I've fed off of guys and asked guys for advice, who have been married. I had more. I had Derek Lee. I had Vladdy Guerrero. Language barrier, a little different. I really wanted to know about the food. But so who has been your people to lean on in these tough times? Because as players, again, we're playing the game, so it's a little bit easier for us. We know that we're playing the game. We're focused on the game. When you're working in the media side, there's times where you just be like, I want to be home right now.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword. You try and find opportunities for your family to join you on the road. One of my kids, my youngest Violet, and my wife, they came to Toronto for an off day, and we did Niagara Falls. My wife obviously picked the off day in Miami. AJ, that's a good choice. And you find pockets where you can make this work. It's gotten a little easier over time when now my kids can, take a shower by themselves at night, and they know when the alarm goes off in the morning, it's time for school. So it has gotten easier in that sense. I think about when I accepted this job before COVID, I had a 3 and a 5-year-old, and we didn't travel for a few years. That would have been so hard. But, now I do feel like I am the oldest person among the daily broadcasters that you mentioned. I have been married for over a decade. I do have kids who are 9 and 7. So it's definitely a different world than some of my younger colleagues, but they'll get there soon enough. I do talk to Jim about being a parent, and I do talk to Big Ben about it a lot. And they understand the grind of it all. For the players, there is going to be an endpoint, probably around my age, if not sooner. I just turned 40. So that day is going to come, and then they have a whole life to lead as parents. To me, I'm hoping I start this journey now in year 5 with the team, and I'm hoping to do this till I'm a grandparent. That's how crazy it really is, just hoping to survive in this industry and with the Orioles, because you guys know I can't and wouldn't leave because I'm a Baltimorean. So that's not even a possibility. So I'm hoping to kind of extend this out until my kids have kids almost.
I'm going to do something I don't think I've ever done on the podcast before. I got a question, and it's kind of a question for both of you, because Adam brought up an interesting point. You're traveling with the team, Brett, on the road. It's business, and then there's pleasure, obviously, and you have to divide the two. And I guess Adam's always aware, on the plane are the broadcasters, and you guys get to see everything that transpires privately. And a lot of it's off the record. And I guess you have to treat it accordingly, right, Brett? Because you
absolutely.
See a lot.
I don't know how much we really see. Adam knows there are unspoken rules where the players sit and where they go. That is kind of almost beyond us. You do develop personal relationships. Had I had this job when Adam was playing, I imagine, Adam, we would be out a little bit together, at least in those days. I do feel like I have more in common almost at this point in my life with some coaches and some of the older players. But it's a team filled with really good guys, but they're so young. Adam and I are the exact same age. We always had our 80s and 90s references to fall back on, whether it be Saved by the Bell or anything like that, or our love of Kelly Kapowski. So we always had those things to talk about, and it's a little different coming up with the younger generation. But no, that is, Jerry, there are rules that just fundamentally have to be abided by, because you cannot talk about things you see in those off moments. Those are completely off limits. And to be honest, we have a very tight broadcast group. I think it's unique for our industry. We're all very, very close. So we do spend a lot of time together. This is what I tell my friends at home. Imagine going to an office and having a 9-to-5 job, and then you take that same group that you have a 9-to-5 job with, and then you're going to travel the country with them. You're going to have a lot of dinners with them, and you're going to sit next to them on plane rides. That is a weird world that we are in.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about the change in ownership. Obviously, Angelos being a great owner for me for 30 years, like that is very tough to do in a city. Now we have a change with Mr. Rubenstein and his group. On the media side, obviously, we've always known there's been some sort of censorship and control up in Ivory Tower. We've always known that. Has there been a more relaxed and a more, let's say, outgoing personality, I guess, letting the reins down a little bit in the media side?
I'm kind of curious to see where it all goes. I really have never felt controlled in any way. I listen, you know me, Adam. I'm never going to criticize, and Jerry and I have had this discussion over the years, someone for striking out or even making any sort of physical error. That's really just not my place. And anyone thinks that makes me soft, I don't care. I cannot play Major League Baseball. I could barely play JV baseball. I have only respect for these athletes and what they go through. And I think it's always been a part of my job. And I think you both would know, going back to like my old sports talk show, that I try to put things in context, that this is really hard. And we lose sight as fans that the other people are also millionaires trying to win at this game. They're so damn good at their job. This idea that if you fail, it's your fault is so silly to me. But I think I've always tried to call the games honestly, but with great respect for the players themselves. So that won't change. I'm never going to hammer a guy for making a physical error. If someone misses a stop sign at third base and gets thrown at the plate, yeah, you have to identify that, Adam, and I think you would think that's fair. Or if someone forgets how many outs there are, you have to call that honestly. But, to me, I never felt like I'm always going to bring my passion and love of this great institution, which is the Baltimore Orioles, my passion for the city, my passion for the ballpark to every broadcast. And that won't change. It doesn't really matter who the owner is. And if anyone has a problem with that, then obviously it's something that wouldn't work. But, I always felt that that both the late Peter Angelos and John, they loved the city. They understood the institution. Sometimes things did not work out, or the wrong words were said, or the execution wasn't there. To me, I think it's very narrow to look at someone from just one point of view. Most of us are very complicated, and there's some good and there's some bad. And that goes for all of us talking here. But I do think there's just been an infusion of excitement from ownership right now with David and his new team that I think it's the right time for this new day for Orioles baseball.
More coming up on the Adam Jones Podcast, but first a word from our sponsors. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for BetParks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Adam Jones podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan? Experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones Podcast.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out with the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I never get back.
Marylanders are adding a 7th-inning stretch to their day with fast play home run riches from the Maryland Lottery. You could win a progressive jackpot instantly and enter to win cash for Orioles home runs.
It's my new ball game.
Hey, it's savings season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas all summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone. Proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Ravens, and the Adam Jones Podcast. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955. Exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app.
I always wondered, how have you been able to separate your fandom from your job? And with the second part of this question, does both of them make your job easier? When you're making a big call, like you sent me a couple weeks ago, you sent me some calls that you made, and like being the fan, it makes your broadcast, it makes you come out, and this is like you talking to your friends rather than you're doing a job. It seems like when you're talking baseball, you're telling the story of an audience. To the audience, and
well, it's not a conversation.
I'm Jerry Coleman, the real Jerry Coleman out in San Diego. Okay, hang a star on that.
Late great.
Okay, late great. And so the radio is when you hear the radio, it is a special part because that is a big part about the highlights. They don't always give you the announcers. Sometimes they do give you the radio feeds, and you're starting to make some.
Well, I love this, Jerry. I've known this guy since 2008. And I've asked him all the questions over the years, and now I'm getting Adam Jones questions. This is an amazing turn of events here. No, it's a great question. Can I tell you what my biggest hesitation was to taking the job when it was offered to me? Was dealing with the idea, and this is really personal, that one day it might end. And I'm not just losing potentially a job at that point. I'm losing a part of my childhood, as corny as that sounds, because, I went to Memorial Stadium. I went to the first exhibition game at Camden Yards. It's a part of my life growing up in Baltimore. It's a part of my family's life. It's a part of my friend's life. When something goes on in an Orioles game and I'm calling a play, I look at my phone after the third out of the inning, and I have dozens of text messages from all of my friends growing up, just venting or their thoughts on that play or what's happening with the team. It's different than what my colleagues have to deal with. I also probably have a lot more ticket requests and daily speaking engagements in the off season from all the people from middle school and high school and old teachers reach out, which is an amazing experience for me because it's a very unique thing. But to your question, Adam, this just doesn't matter to me in Kansas City. I love the game. I love the history of the game. I'll always be a fan of the game. But what connects me to it is the Baltimore Orioles, that this is something that I grew up doing, going to games with my family. I would look up at the broadcast booths at Camden Yards, and in my younger days, I would see Chuck Thompson, I would see John Miller. I would go to bed at night listening to that group, Fred Manfred, Jim Hunter, and all these people you work with, Adam, and I would wear out, and Jerry remembers this, they had a giveaway in 1993, Chuck Thompson's greatest hits, and he might be the GOAT. And I would go to bed listening to that from the last day of the regular season to spring training the next year every night. And I'm not embarrassed to say it's pathetic, it's sad, but that's what planted the seeds in my mind to become a broadcaster and a baseball broadcaster and an Orioles broadcaster. And in that sense, it's an amazing blessing that I've had the chance to do this in my hometown.
Yeah, I can respect that. I have similar pathetic stories just like that.
I would turn down the TV sound, Jerry, in my parents' bedroom, and I would have a dictaphone or recorder, and I would call the games. I did this at 7, 8 years old. Yep. Imagine I would be that guy.
Yeah, and self-critique and say, "Oh, I sound terrible. I sound terrible." But you didn't sound that.
Don't be too hard on yourself, Jerry.
Well, I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about me third person. I do want to ask you about your inclusion of Baltimore, because when mentioning the Orioles, it's like ad nauseum. Baltimore this, Baltimore that. Are you on the Chamber of Commerce? I know you're proud of where you're raised, but you mentioned the city an awful lot.
Someone said there's some stuff in a chat room. I forget who wrote it, and as you can tell, I don't care that I say Baltimore too much. Well, two things. They are the Baltimore Orioles. That is the name. If you just say Orioles repeatedly, it sounds ridiculous. I also say, I would guess I say Orioles just as much. So I like to say, and you have to mix it up, in my opinion. I don't really say O's a lot or birds. Maybe every once in a while I will. I like to say the Baltimore Orioles. And I think it creates a better broadcast sound. But a big home run late in the game, if I had the blessing of calling Adam Jones' 8th inning home run to give the Orioles a 3-2 lead late, and he takes Rivera deep, I'm going to say 3-2 Baltimore. And that's what it is. And Joe Angel did it. Chuck did it. And to me, also, technically speaking, Jerry, when we go to break, we say the Orioles Radio Network. So if I say Orioles 3, Red Sox 2 on the Orioles Radio Network, it sounds very repetitive. It's better to say Baltimore 3, Red Sox 2 on the Orioles Radio Network. And it's less repetitive.
Very true. Let's talk about the Orioles. Obviously, we got just a little bit over 2 weeks left in the season, fighting for first place, which I still believe is obviously in reach. Yankees play, the Orioles play. The final 2 weeks of the season, what do the Orioles need to hone in on? I believe they're a playoff team. It's a very small thing to not make the playoffs. What do they need to hone in on the last 2 weeks of the season from your perspective?
I think, Adam, it's good at bats, quality at bats, making more contact. And there's nothing more frustrating, I think, from my vantage point, when the Orioles are trying to get out of a tough inning or a runners in scoring position situation for the other team, and it's foul ball, and just pesky, tough ABs. And I think when you're struggling offensively, you kind of get it back to basics. I would like to see just more quality at bats. This is not the same team that was on a 108-win pace in April, May, and June. And this is no disrespect to the players that are out there now, but a lot of key players are injured. So it is not the same team. There have been serious injuries. I know you guys are going to talk about it later about parity in the game. This is kind of an NFL type season right now, where parity has come to baseball, maybe a little late. It makes for an incredible pennant race, really exciting times, but you're not going to have a 102, 103 win team. Remember all those early bets, Jerry, on the Dodgers where they win 115 games? They're not going to get close to that number. So I think Orioles fans need to take a step back and understand that it's not just an Orioles thing right now. The Yankees aren't running away with anything. They've been in the same situation for a while. I hope fans understand this as the team comes home and they come out and support the team, because it's really been a tough grind this year. The postseason's become March Madness. Anyone can get hot and do it for better or worse. And I think what they did last year, AJ, they arrived so early and so big, 101 wins after 83 wins after being this big rebuild team. Had they won 90 games last year and they were fighting for 93 wins this year like they are, you would say they're right on time. But they jumped the gun and they went out to 101 wins. Everything went right. Best closer in baseball, never got hurt. And this year's just very different. And a lot of times you will see a team take 2 steps forward. This goes throughout pro sports. And then 1 step back and then 2 more steps forward. And maybe that's what we'll see eventually. There's obviously more playoff experience here. I do think the pitching's falling in line. We'll see who comes back and gets healthy. Remember in the postseason, you can kind of live and die with 3 or 4 relievers. And we know that from the 14 postseason, Adam, when it comes to Kansas City. It doesn't have to be that group of 8 as much. You can limit it with the days off that are there. But to me, I think this team is grinded. I think they're playing their tails off. It has nothing to do with want to or effort. I'll quote Buck Showalter here, who gave us a lot of gems over the years. You can want something too much. And I think that's where this team is. And I think we've lost sight that Jackson is a baby. Colton Cowser is a rookie. Adley Rutschman's in his 3rd season. This is not some, 8-year vet who's been through this. These guys have never failed before. And that's what makes it such a wonderful game. But I'd like to see the ABs just get tougher, particularly in big spots. But to me, this team has performed well. I think about, Adam, the 2012 team won 93 games, one of the most special teams I've ever seen. That team will always hold an incredible place in my heart for all time. The next year, I actually thought the 13 Orioles were better. They won 85 games.
We were.
And it took a step back on paper. And then what happened the next year? 96 wins and running away with an AL East championship. So it can go like this. It's not a perfect trajectory the way fans, I think, want it to be.
So with that being said, and all the injuries, every team has injuries. But again, Yankees injuries are a little different. Everybody seems a little different. But don't you think this is arguably Brandon Hyde's best job then? Being able to put these pieces. I see people just wear him out every night, and I'm like, if you can't say, well, he's losing. He's got. I've seen the guys. It's a damn good roster that's on the DL right now. Sorry, and he's still putting guys in, and that's a tribute to Elias, Sig, the whole entire organization of being able to get major league ready, guys ready for the major leagues. But Brandon Hyde is steering the ship. He has to deserve a lot of credit because he's dealing with injuries. He's early in the season, like I said, up until June, here's the lineup. It is what it is. I know I got 5 or 6 guys penciled in now. Adley's dealing with some injuries. This guy's dealing with injuries. This guy may be struggling. We might need to switch him. We might need to move guys. Gunnar went from 1st to 3rd. Now he's back at 1st. Now Mullins is hitting 2nd, getting hot. Like he's playing chess and he's doing a damn good job.
If you look at his pitch hit numbers, they're off the charts. I think he's done a great job keeping this thing moving. And honestly, I think he's trying to survive this period with what he has, hope to get healthy and well at the end of the season. And listen, he can't take the at-bats for the players. It's an island out there, isn't it, Adam? Like you are on an island. And it's up to you whether you can execute or not.
I've never walked up to the plate and it said, now batting Buck Showalter. I've never seen that. It's always said
Adam. Or Dave Tremblay.
For me. Never seen Tremblay, never seen Samuel, never seen anybody. It's always been me.
I think it's a misconception that it's about effort when things go wrong. Now, it might be effort in the offseason about your training regimen and how you prepare and are you looking over opposing pitchers. But when it comes to being in that box, it is almost never about effort.
I do have to ask you, in terms of broadcasting, what is the best rule that you have learned calling baseball besides don't get into a long story with 2 men down?
That's a good one. Best one, I think we try and keep it really light. I think we can't take our jobs too seriously. If we're not having fun, the audience is not having fun. And I really mean this. It's a little different in September to pennant chase because people are on the edge of their seat. But if this is baseball and people come to us to get away from everything else going on. I said last night, I drove by the Cheers bar. What's the line in that theme song?
Everybody knows your name, right?
That's what we have to be. We're talking as friends, night after night, day after day. Fred Manfred and Chuck Thompson used to say, and what Fred would always tell me, I didn't know Chuck personally, was envision yourself listening on someone's patio or watching on someone's patio, at a barbecue, on the beach, long car ride, going to work, at work. You have to be that friend over 6 months, and you want people to come back to you day after day after day. It's different than every other sport in that sense. And I try and think like I'm talking to one person every time that red light goes on.
I know who's going to win the Orioles' most valuable player. I think that's a consensus in Gunnar Henderson. In your estimation, you've gotten to see every game. Who is the true most valuable Oriole? And I have my pick.
Anthony Santander.
Yeah.
Where would this team be without Anthony? I'm going to vote coming up next week. I have to go Gunnar first just because of the totality of the numbers. Santander is going to be 2 in my vote. And then I'm probably going to go Burns 3 just because I look at his first half numbers.
Of course.
But you know who I might consider for 3? Albert Suarez. Where would this team be without Big Al?
I'm telling you. So he reminds me of, again, we had 3.5 years of trash of Ubaldo, but that half a season, the second half of 2016, he went 7-2. He is the only reason why we made it to the wild card game. And Suarez record, and if you take him away, again, there's always guys that fill in, but his attributions to this team are the reason why they're fighting first place.
No question. He's gone to the bullpen. He did well there. He's gone to the rotation, saved them a few times. This last time he came in was because Grayson got hurt right before his start. He's had 7 starts since then. 6 have been lights out. Lights out in the heat of a pennant chase.
Yes. Ice in his veins, man.
Well, Brett, we're getting towards the end here, and I guess we're getting towards the end of the interview as well because you got a game to call. So we do appreciate you taking the time, although if you have some time, we can have you break down the debate from the other night. But if not,
didn't watch.
All right. If not, then we'll let you go do your day job.
Appreciate you as always, my man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for being here, Brett.
Thank you.
More to come on the Adam Jones podcast after these messages. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. 2022. Jack Daniels. All rights reserved. The Adam Jones podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu, located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience non-stop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
Hey Baltimore, Monument City Brewing has been crafting the best beer in Maryland since 2014. Located at 1 North Haven Street in Baltimore, you've seen us at the ballpark. Now drop by our tasting room. Open Thursday through Sunday with events, music, and great food trucks. And this year we are honored to collaborate with Adam Jones and the Adam Jones Podcast with Simply AJ Ballpark IPA, available throughout the baseball season. It's going to be a great year, Baltimore. Visit us online at monumentcitybrewing.com or follow us on Instagram at Monument City Brewing. Keeping Baltimore safe is an incredibly important job, and protecting those who keep us safe is equally important. The Baltimore Police Department leads the nation in supporting its officers with innovative wellness programs, free fitness classes, counseling services, citywide discounts, and more. Right now, the BPD is hiring. Join now and receive a $10,000 signing bonus upon swearing in. Build a meaningful career in public safety with the BPD and get the support you need to serve Baltimore effectively. Apply now at bpdrecruit.org. It's the perfect time to check out a spacious and reliable new Toyota SUV, like a RAV4. With available all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo space, you'll go from errands to adventures in no time. Plus, available features like wireless charging will keep you connected. Or check out a Highlander with seating for up to 8. It's a hub for family adventure. Your Toyota dealer is getting new vehicles in stock regularly, so don't wait. Find deals on a RAV4 or Highlander at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And now back to the Adam Jones Podcast.
Well, Adam, we can check Brett off the list and stop texting us now, I guess.
I mean, he knows, but he knows the intricacies of
great guy.
He knows intricacies of the game. Again, he's such a it's you call it the homer, but like you said, he genuinely loves the Orioles. But like I said, he genuinely loves the game. So it's a perfect match that he getting to call the games for his hometown teams. And like I said, I wish he got to call some of my biggest moments, but he was there for a lot of them, and we still talk about it. So just a great guy for baseball.
You cut him open, he bleeds orange. That's
100%. I tried.
And he also bleeds Baltimore. He loves his town. Good for him. Man. Great having him on. All right, we're talking For the Birds now. It's sponsored by our friends over at the Maryland Lottery. When you play the Maryland Lottery, set limits. Never play when you're stressed. To know your odds of winning. To learn more, visit mdlottery.com/play responsibly. You must be 18 years or older to play. And yes, as we have said on past podcasts, and we just talked about it with Brett, the Orioles are going to the playoffs. But how long will they last with the issues they're having, particularly at the plate? The struggles, I mean, again, about 15 games to go. I know Jordan Westburg and Ryan Mountcastle are on their way back. They missed those two.
I mean, Westburg has been he's been such a catalyst. I know he's still young in his career, but his impact is being missed. Puts together good at bats, hits the ball hard, very good base runner, good defender. When you miss a guy like that, I remember when we missed JJ for extended period of time. It changes the lineup. It changes a lot of things. It makes things move when you can plug somebody in. And you know what? I look at it like this: is with 2 weeks to go in the season, everybody is up and down right now. Judge is not having a great September. Soto's not having a great September. You're still fighting for the title. Again, we want perfection out of an imperfect world. If they get hot at the right time, that's all that matters. Gunnar was player of the week last week. His bat is getting better. Maybe the weather's changed. Maybe he got a little bit tired from August. It's a very tough month. He plays a very demanding position. Adley's swinging the bat better. I mean, it's such a long year that we get caught up in thinking that perfection is going to be every day. And no, there's going to be 2-3 weeks where these players just look terrible. I mean, terrible. But if you go and look at their numbers over 145 games played, you're like, oh, it's a pretty good season. But you're going to be, oh, let's harp on, August 12th through August 28th. He didn't do what. So what? The law of averages play itself out. It's like if Aaron Judge keeps on his progression, he's going to hit 68 home runs and 160 RBIs. No, the man has to slow down and come back to earth for a brief moment. I mean, he's still in the stratosphere. He's probably, teetering on the ozone layer, but, the law of averages in this game plays itself out. It's a long season. It's a painful season. These guys are beat up. They're beat up. You understand. These guys slide. They get hit by pitches. They're just the travel, the simple running out to your position is so undervalued. People don't realize it. You just have to run. Just go run out there. You have to do that 18 times. Just that. That's just to get to work. So like things like that, people don't really pay attention to that. As a center fielder, you got to do so much running. I've had to tell some of these players, like second half of the season, you might need to back up a little bit. You might, in terms of get off of the workload, because it's a long season and you need your freshness. I've never harped on struggles because obviously you harp on struggles in playoffs, because if you lose, you're done. Throughout a long season, I'm not going to harp on it. Like I said, Manny Machado was struggling in the first part of the year. Look at his numbers now. You're like, what struggle? So Aaron Judge, they said he was terrible the first 3-4 weeks of the year. He looks like Zeus the last 4 months. So you just got to ride the wave, and these guys know. These guys know. And also to that, the teams that they're playing for pride. Again, you're playing the White Sox. They lost the game to the White Sox. And again, you're supposed to beat the crap out of them, yes. But you're playing against somebody with pride also. You're not just playing against some Joe Schmo off the street. This dude worked his ass off to get in this moment. So he's not just going to hand it over to you because they got 33 wins this year. Like, nah, I don't want 34. Hell yeah, they want 34. You know what I mean? So when you put that into perspective, like Brett said, there's not one person that goes up there and just doesn't care, doesn't give an effort at the plate. Now, sometimes you look like you don't give an effort, but that's just because the dude on delivering the ball is that good. But the people, the masses don't get that because again, we just watched the top level stuff. How many Orioles fans or fans in general go to Bowie and watch those games? How many go to Aberdeen and watch those games? Now, you're going to watch those games to see the top prospects and get autographs, but how many are really, really watching those games and seeing them play? It's a whole different game when you see it at the minor league level. You'll gain way more appreciation for how great these guys really are at the big league level.
Excellent points. And I just gained appreciation for where the Orioles are right now offensively, not panicking.
No, the Yankees. The Yankees didn't run away with it. Kansas City did not. Is not like just boatloading right on your tail. You're still 3 up on them, or 3 or 4. I mean, there's so like it's called the law of averages. Now, if people thought the Orioles were going to win 103 games this year, I didn't have them winning that. I had them winning 90 to 95. If you thought the Dodgers were going to win 120, I sure as hell didn't have that. Now, 100 wins is definitely reasonable because they've done it the last 8 or 9 years or something like that. So it's definitely in their realm of possibilities. But 115 are like, come on. It's just no. There's the Padres are going to take wins. I know you're going to beat up on the Rockies, but the other teams are really good. They ain't going to allow that.
Well said. All right, we'll travel beyond Baltimore, a national and sometimes international perspective. It's all brought to you by our friends at Relief Medical Marijuana Dispensary, where they go above and beyond to help you, the patient. Let's talk about what we were discussing earlier, and Brett mentioned it, the parity in Major League Baseball. There is no dominant team right now. I mean, the O's are a prime example. They're 500 since the All-Star break. You mentioned the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Phillies. They're still favorites to win the World Series. I don't know if any of those clubs are going to reach 100 wins.
And you know what? I get asked that question. Who's going to be in the World Series? Who's going to – hey, it's who gets hot. I guarantee you only 2 franchises that had themselves in the World Series last year that thought they were going to be there were the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. No outside predictions had them too. And if they did, that person won a lot of money betting that. So, again, the Dodgers are scary right now because they're getting healthy. Their starting rotation is getting healthy. Muncy is back. He's going to get another 50, 60 at-bats before the postseason, so he's going to be crisp. Mookie is back. Obviously, he's back healthy. Ohtani is who he is. The Dodgers' bottom of the lineup has always been their problem. Lux is good. Phillies, back end of their bullpen's always been their issue. Can they lock it down? Their team is phenomenal. If the Braves get in, the Braves have been there before. I don't care what Matt Olson's numbers look like right now. I'm terrified to face him in the short series where you got to see me over and over. You got the Yankees, the Orioles, the Indians. Sorry.
Guardians.
You got the Yankees, the Orioles, you got the Guardians, and you have to worry about the Guardians because they are annoying. They're just annoying. They're pesky. They play the game hard. They take every extra base. They play great defense. They steal bases. They'll bridge you if you miss. Naylor, Ramirez. They'll bridge you if you miss. And they just play such a good, fun game. I love what Stephen Vogt is doing over there. I think he's probably in line for the American League Manager of the Year. So I'm really, really excited about them. But to me, I think the O's have a really good speed power combination. Like Brett said, when the Orioles put together really good at bats, they're hard to beat. When they don't strike out, they're hard to beat. When they put the ball in play, they're hard to beat. As I always tell Kowser, anytime I see him go through a little funk, I always tell him, hey, big dog, just be creative, be dynamic. You put the ball in play more, things happen. Like I told Ellie De La Cruz, you put the ball in play 25% more, you'll have more stolen bases because you're on base. You run every time you're on. When you hit a ground ball, do you know how hard it is for the guy to throw you out? I think sometimes players forget how hard it is to be on the other side. Like, as a hitter, you got to understand, if you hit a hard ground ball, it's really hard to catch. If you hit a line drive, as an outfielder, it's still hard to catch a line drive. We make them look easy because we practice on them, but that's a bullet. And you see those plays, you see them misjudged. So sometimes you just got to realize, like, look, if I just put it in play, it doesn't matter how hard, I'm the fastest in the damn game, I'm going to be on base. Ichiro, he didn't strike out a lot. By him putting the ball in play, it allowed him to just get on base. And that's one thing when the Orioles do that, when the Orioles just get on base, and it's not always by a hit. It can be by a fielder's choice. It can be by, again, an error, or you never want the strikeout, but it's a strikeout pass ball if you're paying attention and hustle. Anything like that, just get on base. What I've seen from the Orioles the last 2 years is when they get on base, bleep happens. They got to get on base.
We know
happens.
It's been since outside of the COVID year. It's been since 2014 where we went without a 100-win team in Major League Baseball. So it's been a hot minute.
Oh, they didn't play 100 games.
Yeah, we got a team that's already lost 100 times. The putrid Chicago White Sox. They're on their way to the worst season in MLB history. You've been on some bad teams, but not this bad.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
They lost 22 of their first 25. Maybe that was an inkling.
They've had some really bad losing streaks. They could have traded some guys to rebuild their system for the future. That didn't happen. I look at the positive.
We talked about this. They don't even
have the top pick. No, they have number 10. I look at the positive of it is guys are getting opportunities to play. Again, like you look at them as a punching bag because you're going to them. You should beat them, but at the same time, I've been on the other side of it. We're just getting my butt whooped. It's an opportunity for me to do something and to spoil you. We all remember our start to it was putting the Red Sox out in 2011. We had nothing. You know where we were going right after that? Everybody moved out of their leases was up. Everybody was out in the hotel in suitcases. Their trucks was packed up, ready to drive home the next morning or fly, do whatever they needed to do. But that game right there, because it's pride. You put on a Major League uniform. Every day I showed up to the ballpark, it wasn't I showed up to the ballpark and I put an Orioles uniform and it said 52 and 93. It didn't say that it just said Orioles. I'm representing the Orioles today. And if I win today, I win today. That's how these opportunities arise. And for the White Sox, these young dudes that are playing on the team, they need to take advantage of these opportunities because, again, they're not that good. The team overall, the dynamic of it's not that good. But you got some talent over there, and you got some young guys that are going to get opportunities to play. And they're going to get opportunities to spoil somebody's postseason chances. So it's a double-edged sword. You stink. Yes, the team, and hopefully they get better. But you have an opportunity as a man, as a professional athlete, as a major league player, you are a major league player, to go out and owe it to yourself, the name on the back of your jersey and the name on the front of your jersey to give it your best. Again, is it going to look pretty? No, it hasn't looked pretty all year for them, but they can be annoying and pesky for these last 2 weeks. And Oakland can be teams that you just don't want to face right now.
All right, we'll package that up. And
you do.
Send that off to the White Sox clubhouse. I can watch that pep talk there. All right, let's go from maybe bad to even worse. Time for Socially Speaking. This is where we answer a post on social media. You get a chance to win a $50 gift card from our friends at Lido Pizza, the official pizza sponsor of the Adam Jones podcast, also a proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. You can find us on social media. We're all over the place at Adam Jones Pod. That's at Adam Jones Pod. So over the weekend in Barcelona, you were invited to an 80s style party and you posted a few pictures of the costume, and you can see them on YouTube if you're watching right now. Let's discuss how this came together, the party and then the outfit. And an 80s party, it's like, is Barcelona a little behind?
No. So a good friend of ours, the expat group, his wife turned 40. So they're New Yorkers and they wanted to have an 80s theme party. She's born in 84 and they wanted an 80s theme party. So they made this beautiful, beautiful mansion here. It's called Villa Mayfair. They made it into the 80s club. So it had the graffiti on the wall. Like, just imagine the 80s club. Minus the Coke. But it was but it was such a good time. My wife, we woke up the next morning. My wife was like, that was like really one of the best parties. They kept us there later and later because they said, hey, the cake is coming out. Everybody can leave after the cake. So we're like, okay, no worries. Like, people just want the finale. We ended up standing there 2, 3 in the morning, had pizza, no cake showed up. And but we had a good time. I posted a picture. I was supposed to be Prince.
Yes.
That's it, 85%. I mean, I'm not wearing the stilettos and I'm not wearing the wig. I posted it. Kirby texted me and said, you look like Django. So I've been told I look like Jamie Foxx by a few people here and there. And I was like, damn, I kind of do look like Django a little bit with this outfit. And it was great. A lot of people liked it. There was a macho man that was there. And me and this dude, we never met. And we just started talking. We just start talking about wrestling. And what I love about theme parties also is that it breaks your shell. You know what I mean? Like if you say, hey, I need you, this is the theme, I need you to dress, it breaks your shell. If it's a black tie party, everybody can do with this and hello. But when you break your shell and like an 80s theme party, like everybody has their idea. You had a Richard Simmons. A dude came out with the little shorts. He was just on the dance floor stretching and all doing little workouts. He had those little small weights and stuff like that. I mean, you had so many creative things. Obviously, with the one guy named Barry, he was dressed as Run DMC with the Adidas outfit, the big chain. You had, because back then in the 80s was the jumpsuits. Yep. So like it was a really, really cool vibe. One guy was Rico Suave. One dude was this like kind of like an Italian mob boss. He had this coat, he had this nice suit on with his fur over it. Mind you, it was 92 degrees, so everybody was sweating. But like I said, when you have a theme party, it breaks everyone's shell, and it just offered everyone's had a great time opposed to being all stiff in a little suit. Who cares about wearing a damn black tie party? I want to do something more relaxed to where I get to see the true personality. When you wear a black tie, it makes the person like tense and tighten up. You got to dress it. The dude who dressed up the Macho Man, that takes a little bit of gall. Okay.
I enjoyed the pictures, and I love the 80s. That's my favorite decade.
It's a great era.
Of the 80s, yeah.
You had hairband guys. You had some guys with the hairband wigs. Like, I mean, it was the tight shorts.
Michael Jackson had to have been there, right?
There was one dude was Michael Jackson. He had the black jacket with the gold that went in, the gold stripes. I mean,
I wanted to see Michael hang out with Prince. That's why I was asking. All right. We do want to thank our sponsors, and I did want to mention that coming up on October the 1st is the Baltimore Banner's immersive one-day event. It's called Impact Maryland, all in partnership with Defender One and presented by Whiting Turner. It will once again bring together our region's visionary leaders to interact and present in meaningful ways with the most engaged thinkers in the community to foster innovative ideas and creative solutions to the most pressing issues facing our region. And some of the speakers the Baltimore Banner is going to have for this Impact Maryland include the owner of the Orioles, David M. Rubenstein, Ron Daniels, Megan Conklin, and more. Check out the Banner website for more details. This is an awesome event.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for BetParks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Adam Jones podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan? Experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones podcast.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out with the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I never get back.
Marylanders are adding a 7th-inning stretch to their day with fast play home run riches from the Maryland Lottery. You could win a progressive jackpot instantly and enter to win cash for Orioles home runs.
It's my new ball game.
Hey, it's savings season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas all summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone. Proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Ravens, and the Adam Jones Podcast. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955. Exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks 2022. Jack Daniels, all rights reserved. The Adam Jones Podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu, located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience non-stop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
Hey Baltimore, Monument City Brewing has been crafting the best beer in Maryland since 2014. Located at 1 North Haven Street in Baltimore, you've seen us at the ballpark. Now drop by our tasting room. Open Thursday through Sunday with events, music, and great food trucks. And this year we are honored to collaborate with Adam Jones and the Adam Jones Podcast with Simply AJ Ballpark IPA, available throughout the baseball season. It's going to be a great year, Baltimore. Visit us online at monumentcitybrewing.com or follow us on Instagram at Monument City Brewing. Listeners, tell your friends. The Baltimore Police Department is hiring the next generation of officers. Starting salary is over $61,000. Plus, you'll receive an additional $10,000 signing bonus upon swearing in. Apply today to start your career in public safety. This is a great opportunity to serve the city you love and start a career that makes a difference in your community. Apply now at bpdrecruit.org. It's the perfect time to check out a spacious and reliable new Toyota SUV, like a RAV4, with available all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo space. You'll go from errands to adventures in no time. Plus, available features like wireless charging will keep you connected. Or check out a Highlander with seating for up to 8. It's a hub for family adventure. Your Toyota dealer is getting new vehicles in stock regularly, so don't wait. Find deals on a RAV4 or Highlander at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Also, thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin for putting this latest episode together. Chip loves to fish, but getting that hook out of his mouth has become very problematic. Until next week, be real, be kind, and make sure to be back for another edition. It is the Adam Jones Podcast.